So in the crypto space, turning $1,000 into $100,000 is the holy grail. Everyone wants to do that, but very few people have been able to successfully spot the opportunities and also execute on them to a T. But you and I have faith in us. I think we can do it. And so if we're looking for these types of opportunities right now, what better place to look than the DeFi space? Because that's what's hot right now. That's where all the growth is. And so that's why DeFi's been on my mind lately, and that's where all my attention and focus has been. A few videos ago, I did a super long conversation with a DeFi expert, and I picked his brain on the overall macro view of the DeFi space and where we should be researching more and which projects he thinks are sleepers and have all the massive opportunities for price appreciation. And so afterwards, I went out and bought one of those tokens so far. And a lot of people have been commenting under that video and was like, hey, can you write out which ones he picked? That's why I wanted to do this video right here and create a summary for you about his top undervalued gems in the DeFi space. So if that sounds like something you're looking for, then you're in the right place. Sit back, relax, and just keep on watching. Hey everyone, welcome back to BFB. I'm your host Kevin, and in this channel we're all about deep research and honest opinions because look, everyone's a genius in a bull market, but we hope that through our analysis and deeper digging, we can give you that extra edge to beat the market in the long term. That's why in this video, I want to touch on the 5 projects that Brian, our DeFi expert, mentioned and break it down for you. What it is, what makes it special, my opinion, price action, and where you can buy it. Number 1 is called Index, and with full disclosure, this is the only one I've bought so far. I would have bought all of them, but gas fees are ridiculous. For this particular one, I spent about $50 total in gas to execute my trades for it. And so if I were to buy all 5, it would have been 5 times that amount. I didn't want to do that for the smaller amount of balances I'm willing to put in this 1,000 to 100,000 challenge. And their full name is actually Index Cooperative. They're like a collective of people looking to manage this project. What they're all about is crypto asset management done in a decentralized and automated way. So that still may be a little bit confusing for you though. What do I mean by that? One thing they do is make crypto index products, right? Think about the S&P 500. This is in the stocks world, but it is an index of 500 large companies on US stock exchanges. And so it's an index that tracks roughly the performance of those companies. And they have a committee that decides which ones get added and which one gets removed. And so Index's flagship index product is called DPI or DeFi Pulse Index. You can think of this like the S&P 500, but rather for the stock world, this is an index that tracks the broader DeFi ecosystem. They hold a weighted portfolio of various DeFi tokens that pass their specific criteria, and this gets rebalanced, adjusted, and tweaked periodically. The beauty is that you can get exposure to the entire DeFi ecosystem by just holding their DPI token rather than buying and managing all of those different dozen plus tokens by yourself, right? No one wants to do that. I certainly don't. If the DeFi ecosystem matures and appreciates, then your DPI tokens will benefit as well. So far, DPI does roughly $8 million in daily trading volume and has collected over $120 million in total market cap. And honestly, I expect all of these adoption numbers to just climb over time as this product matures and as this industry and niche matures as well. Now, that's the only index product that Index Co-op has so far, but they plan on creating similar ones for a bunch of different niches and industries within the broader crypto ecosystem. So the plan is to create a lot more of these in the future as well. If you buy the index token, this is crucial for this whole thing to function, right? It's for governance. So if you hold the token, you have a voice to decide how the protocol upgrades, which new products to add, and how to control the treasury too. Now, Index launched in October of 2020, and it's gone from roughly $7 down to $1 and now up to $27 with quite a bit of volume. It's already in the 6 figures range consistently. If you want to buy this one, I recommend you use a DEX such as Uniswap. Now, the second DeFi sleeper is called NFTX, and this one is very similar to Index, but it's for the non-fungible token or NFT space. We've already made several videos explaining what NFTs are and touching on specific ones like NBA Top Shot. So I'm not going to rehash all of that in this video, but in a nutshell, non-fungible tokens are tokens that are distinct from one another and easily verifiable. That's why it's perfect for representing things like digital collectibles, art, video game items, and so forth. Now, NFTX has built a platform to create index funds backed by certain types of NFTs like CryptoKitties, CryptoPunks, and all your other popular ones are going to be added eventually. That's the plan, at least. The beauty is that if we want exposure to these different NFTs, we can just buy something on this platform rather than going to manage and hold and track all your different NFTs individually. That is a huge hassle. We can just buy these Ethereum-backed tokens, which represent these NFTs on exchanges we're already comfortable with. And I just gotta say, NFTs is a piping hot space, right? We've got Mark Cuban, we've got Chamath, all personally creating NFTs and investing in this space heavily as well. Everyone has been obsessed with NFTs lately, and if this space really takes off and has staying power too, then I can see a token like NFTX appreciating quite nicely, maybe getting close to those 100x gains from this current point. Now, similar to Index, this token is also for governance purposes, and they launched in early January of 2021, rocketed from $28 per token to $450 so far, with pretty good trading volumes in the millions. And you can buy this on all the popular decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, SushiSwap, 1inch, 0x, and so forth. Next up, number 3 is Cream, and this one is a fun one, right? Guess what Cream stands for? Well, if you didn't know, it stands for Crypto Rules Everything Around Me, CREAM. So I already like them because they must be jokesters too, but they describe themselves on their website as a lending platform based on Compound Finance and an exchange platform based on Balancer Labs. Compound and Balancer are two very well-known and established projects already in the DeFi space. And Cream started out essentially as a Frankenstein project, right? That means that they took bits and pieces from other DeFi projects and protocols, stitched them together in their own protocol, and made some tweaks as well. Now, as they move towards Cream version 2, they are focused specifically on lending, but in a totally different way from the existing lending protocols out there. Whereas those are more peer-to-peer and require you to post up more collateral than the amount of your loan. But in Cream's case, they want to offer you 0 collateral loans. You heard me right, 0. But this is not going to be peer-to-peer. This is going to be on a protocol-to-protocol level, and they're going to use a credit system and a whitelisting protocol as well. So the benefit is that now different DeFi projects can borrow funds from Cream directly rather than tie up their assets and their liquidity to get an over-collateralized loan. Honestly, this all sounds game-changing, and they're already working with Yearn and Alpha Finance to integrate with this Cream version 2 protocol. But let's pump the brakes a little bit though, because on February 13th, there was a big exploit, one of those flash loan attacks that affected both Cream version 2 and Alpha Finance. And in the process, the attacker drained roughly $38 million. And people were confident about this project, right? Because it got audits. But of course, nothing is foolproof in the crypto space. Audits are not foolproof by any means. And shortly after it happened, they were able to discover the exploit and patch that bug. So it's now operational again. To be honest, I don't hold this against them that much because this is par for the course for the nascent DeFi space. It's still young. It's still not fully evolved yet. So you're going to have these things happen. And they're not the first one to encounter these flash loan attacks, and they won't be the last one either. And so if you decide to buy Cream anyways and look past their recent exploit, it's for governance, but also you get a cut of their protocol fees. And this project was launched in August of 2020, and it opened at $100, dropped to around $20, rocketed to over $330, and after the exploit started dropping back down to roughly $200 right now. That was the roller coaster of the price action so far. It has decent volume in the millions, and you can find it on Binance, BitHum, Poloniex, and your typical decentralized exchanges. So the number 4 project is Alpha. And this is by Alpha Finance Labs. And yes, it's the one I mentioned that was exploited along with Cream. But that doesn't mean they can't recover and soar higher than ever before, right? Their primary product is called Alpha Homura. And essentially, they're bringing leverage to yield farming for the entire DeFi space. Honestly, it would take me a whole nother video to explain what yield farming is, but let me try to do so in a very brief nutshell right now. Essentially, various DeFi protocols need people to stake their assets and provide their assets into their protocols so that other users can come and borrow, lend, trade, and so forth, do all the different financial functions, right? To incentivize people to do that, if you come in and stake your crypto in their pools, you get rewards and you get a token that represents what you've staked. And then the interesting part is that then you can take that token and stake it elsewhere for even more rewards. You can kind of imagine the complex strategies that people can do across a ton of different protocols to generate even more yield with their initial holdings. This is the wonderful world of yield farming. But taking a step back, what you need to know about Alpha is that they're the first ones to bring leverage to the yield farming space. And so they do this in a very simple way by borrowing Ether from people at a super high rate and then taking that to yield farm with it for the users and yield farmers on the other side. So that sounds pretty simple, right? But the application is really innovative, I gotta say, because now yield farmers can open positions on Alpha Homura and can get even higher yield on their strategies. Launched in October 2020, right now the Alpha token is purely for governance, but eventually they're gonna add it so that you can get a cut of the fees generated by the protocol as well. When they launched, they started around 10 cents, went all the way up to $2.60, and now dropped down to $1.40 after the exploit. If you're interested, you can buy this on Binance and all the other popular dexes as well. Last but not least, number 5 is ROOK, and this is the token of the Keeper DAO project. Brian, our DeFi expert who I talked to, called this the plumber of the DeFi space. So what does that make you think, right? Well, it makes me think that they don't do a sexy job, but it is so crucial. They clean everything up and they make great money while doing so. And that is in fact a great analogy, because what Keeper DAO does is they scour the DeFi space to look for inefficiencies and then perform arbitrage on those to make profit. To be more specific, some actions they can take are like liquidating position in Compound, rebalancing a set protocol basket, and performing some arbitrage in token prices between various decentralized exchange protocols. And to accomplish this task and mission, they have 2 different types of players, keepers and LPs. So keepers are the entities who act on the blockchain, and they're the ones who do the liquidation, do the rebalances and the arbitrage. But to do what they do, they need funds, right, to implement their strategies. And the more the better, because they get a bigger advantage. And that's where the LPs come in. The LPs offer up assets and funds into the pool, and then the keepers can use that and they split up the profits. It's a win-win. Like I said, this is not a sexy task, but darn it if it isn't important. DeFi projects have inefficiencies pop up, especially when the market's moving fast. And they rely on the market to handle that for them and to balance it and smooth things out. Because after all, there is an economic incentive to do so. If you do these arbitrage opportunities, you can get money fast. So Keeper DAO aims to do this early and often and make a lot of money while keeping DeFi projects humming along. They didn't have a token when they first launched, but then they recently launched ROOK. And you might have guessed it, it's for governance. But it's also to manage the profit share between keepers and LPs. Launched in mid-November of 2020, it has gone from $88 per ROOK to over $600 at current time. There's a really healthy trading volume of tens of millions, and you can get it on the popular dexes. So, that was a lot, guys. What did you think, though? Those were our 5 DeFi moonshots that you should take a look at for potential 100x gains. But I'm curious, though, after hearing about these 5 projects, which ones are you potentially going to buy? And which one of these do you think has the most potential? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, please share some of the projects that you're looking at in the DeFi space, because I love it when you do that, and I will always take the time to check it out. Oh, and before you go, be sure to check out our exclusive deals for you down in the pinned comment and the description below. You can also earn up to $250 if you open a BlockFi account and use my specific link. Anyways, I'm Kevin. It's always amazing to be here with you. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one.